President Macron is in Greenland to show support because Trump wants the land there.
French President Emmanuel Macron visited Greenland on Sunday to show support for the Danish autonomous region, which is desired by. Last night, Iran and Israel fought with weapons.
Andrew Hillier, our international affairs editor, shares his analysis. Listen to him.
2 full sentences with periods. Is there a chance that the conflict will spread and affect other countries in the? Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, stated that Iran has reliable evidence showing how American forces and bases in the region. Ferrari has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans race for the 3rd consecutive year.
Ferrari won the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the 3rd year in a row.
President Trump said the U.S. might get involved in a conflict between Iran and Israel. President Trump told ABC News on Sunday that the U.S. might get involved in the conflict between Iran and Israel. For the first time ever in a trial, a Russian soldier is speaking in court.
Russian soldier Dmitry Kurashov is having a trial for killing someone on the battlefield in Ukraine.
Air India plane crash death toll rises to 270. Dr. Dhaval Gamady said that 270 bodies have been found at the place of the plane crash in Ahmedabad. Police are searching for someone who attacked and killed a Minnesota state politician and another. Portman and her husband were killed in what authorities called targeted political violence.
Hoffman and his wife were also injured.
Many people are protesting against President Trump in different places in the United States. The organizers stated that many protests took place on the same day as the military parade organized by Trump.
The pictures from satellites show that some important places in Iran's nuclear program have been. Imagery from 2 different providers shows damage to Iranian nuclear facilities. More people are getting angry as families of Air India passengers who died in a.
The relatives and friends of the people who died in the Air India crash are feeling angry and frustrated, and the son of a person who died in a plane crash said that he will. The son of a person who died in an Air India plane crash says he will always remember his mother's. According to Amnesty International, at least 100 people were killed in a gun attack in. According to Amnesty International, at least 100 people have been murdered in a shooting in a village in northern Nigeria.
Israel's attack on Iran was not just because of nuclear threats.
Israel attacked Iran because they were concerned about Iran developing a nuclear weapon. A helicopter with Hindu pilgrims on board crashed in India, causing the deaths of 7. A helicopter with Hindu pilgrims on board has crashed in India, resulting in the deaths of 7 people. In Austria and France, people are shocked after school shootings happened. Parents and governments don't know how to keep schools safe from unexpected acts of violence. They feel confused and uncertain. An Air India plane accidentally crashed into a canteen at Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus Railway. The BBC talks to people who saw and survived the crash of an Air India plane. They share what happened. They found the black box from the plane that crashed with Air India.
Doctors use DNA from relatives to identify victims' remains, but they say the process will be slow.
Iran is struggling after Israel launched a rare attack, and this is just the beginning. Frank Gardner says that Israel's current operation called Rising Lion is larger and more daring than any previous one.
What could happen if Israel and Iran fight? Here are possible serious outcomes. 1. Intense.
BBC reporter James Landale explains what might occur if the fighting grows worse and spreads. The person who survived the plane crash tells what happened before the deadly impact in. The person who survived the Air India plane crash said they thought they were going to die.
The recent attacks between Israel and Iran may affect the global economy.
The Middle East is where most of the world's oil comes from, and it is an important place for ships.
The names of some of the victims have been announced after the Air India plane.
People are remembering those who died in the Air India plane crash, such as a family with 3 children and 2 children have become orphans because their father died in a plane crash in India. The father who went back home after spreading his wife's ashes passed away in the Air India crash, making his.
An Irish politician is being deported from Egypt after attempting to go to Gaza. An Irish politician said that the police in Egypt were violent after they took his phone while he tried to. VivaTech 2025 will feature exhibits highlighting innovative technologies originating from Africa.
First news, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says that climate change is causing catastrophic floods and the death toll from. At the United Nations Security Council, many people strongly disapproved of Israel's attack. From UN headquarters in New York, Jessica Lemassurier from France 24 reported that there was strong criticism of Israel's. Iran fired more missiles at Israel after attacking its nuclear facilities. On Saturday, Iran and Israel attacked each other with airstrikes because Israel launched its largest attack against Iran to stop.
Tehran responded with missile attacks after Israel attacked Iran.
This is called a tit-for-tat attack. On Saturday morning, Iran launched missiles at Israel because of Israeli airstrikes against their military and nuclear sites. In Israel, there was a lot of activity last night because Iran responded with attacks.
From Jerusalem this morning, France 24's Nova Tarnopolsky reports that last night was intense in Israel with continuous rocket.
North Korea says their second attempt at launching a rocket from a warship was successful. The 5,000-ton destroyer got hurt during the first attempt to launch it in May because it turned over. The appeals court has temporarily allowed President Trump to keep the National Guard in Los. The judge in a federal case told the Trump administration to give control of the National Guard troops in California.
Student avoided Air India crash because of traffic. Took 10 minutes later.
Bhumi Chauhan was running late, but the staff of Air India Flight 171 wouldn't let her on the plane.
The survivor said, "I left the wreckage from Air India."
The person named Mr. Ramesh said that he witnessed cabin crew members and passengers dying right in front of him.
Israel has been carrying out secret operations to damage Iran's nuclear program and target military. High-ranking soldiers and experts in nuclear technology died, according to reports from Iran's state media. Here's what we know about the Iranian military leaders and nuclear experts who were killed.
Early this morning, Israel attacked over 100 targets in Iran, including the hiding places of important leaders in the military. In Israel's attack on Iran, they hit important places in Iran's nuclear program, such as their facilities and factories that. The person who survived the car crash describes what happened before the deadly impact in. The person who survived the Air India plane crash said he thought he would die.
Israel recently attacked Iran, but the reason why is unclear. Israel has attacked Iran's nuclear sites.
Israel has attacked Iran in a large operation and has declared an emergency because they are worried about how Israeli airplanes are still bombing nuclear sites in Iran, according to the Israeli military.
Israel attacked Iran's capital with strikes targeting their nuclear program on Friday.
Israel is attacking nuclear facilities and important leaders in Iran, according to current information. Israel attacked important places in Iran on Friday, hitting both its nuclear and military facilities. The leader of Iran's Revolutionary Guards, Hossein Salami, has been killed in an Israeli attack. Israel has carried out attacks that have killed high-ranking Iranian military officials, nuclear scientists, and in Tehran, Saeed Azini from France 24 reports that Iran has confirmed the deaths of important military leaders and nuclear. Iran sent around 100 drones to Israel after their nuclear facilities were attacked.
Nova Tarnopolsky from France 24 is reporting from Jerusalem.
The leader of Spain, called the Prime Minister, PM, said he's sorry about a corruption. Spanish leader Pedro Sanchez is dealing with increased problems because of a growing corruption case that caused a high-ranking person.
What might have led to the crashing of an Air India plane within 30 seconds?
The BBC was told by experts that the plane might have crashed because of a problem with the flaps. Air India flight from Mumbai to London crashed near Ahmedabad. Air India announced that all 241 passengers and crew members on board the plane have passed away in a crash.
A British man survived a plane crash in India and is the only passenger who.
Vishwas Kumar Ramesh survived the Air India crash that killed 241 people, making him the only passenger who lived. An Air India plane crashed and at least 241 people died.
One person survived.
A British man who was on a flight to London survived the crash in Ahmedabad, which is in western India. A plane crashed and damaged a medical hostel while students were having lunch inside. Pictures and videos show what happened after an Air India plane crashed in a neighborhood near Ahmedabad airport in The person who survived the Air India crash said that they are doing well and the patient, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, was awake and partially upright on his hospital bed when I entered the ward. The British person who survived a plane crash told their family, "I don't know how." The British man who survived the Air India plane crash said, "I don't know how I'm alive," to his family. Plane from Dubai to Kozhikode crashed in heavy rain.
All 190 on board died.
Air India plane flying to London Gatwick has crashed in India. An Air India plane with 242 people on board has crashed. A plane with 242 people, including 53 British citizens, crashed in India as it was flying to London Gatwick. People are protesting in many places in the United States, even after President Trump said. People are protesting against tough immigration policies in many places in the United States, after several days of demonstrations in Australia is certain about their agreement with the United States for nuclear submarines, even though Australia is very confident about the future of the US agreement to give their Navy nuclear-powered submarines, which is part. At VivaTech 2025, people learned about how artificial intelligence, AI, is helping with cybersecurity. In this episode, Charles Pellegrin from France 24 interviews Benjamin Netter, co-founder of Riot. Israel has sent out 6 more people who were on a boat trying to give. The Israeli organization Atala said on Thursday that 6 more people from a boat trying to break Israel's blockade of the film festival in Cabourg, France is all about love and movies. The romantic film festival in Cabourg, France is celebrating its 39th year. The Beach Boys paid tribute to Brian Wilson, calling him a genius. The remaining band members praised his genius and musical gifts. The United States is examining its agreement with Australia and the UK called AUKUS as Australia is facing pressure from the United States to significantly increase its military spending, as stated in a recent report. Louisville is under a curfew for a second night. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass said that the federal government is causing trouble by provoking people and creating chaos during. Mother is happy because her malnourished baby from Gaza was taken to Jordan. The BBC goes in an ambulance from the border of Gaza to Amman with Sawar and her family. The United States will partly evacuate its embassy in Iraq as tensions increase with Iran. Because discussions about Iran's nuclear program between the United States have stopped recently, a decision has been made. Police in Los Angeles are following a curfew during protests because similar protests are happening. In Los Angeles, a curfew has been put in place because protests against Donald Trump's immigration policy are happening in. Farewell letter from gunman discovered as Austria mourns school shooting victims. At the house of a 21-year-old who shot and killed 10 people at a school, a goodbye letter in video. In Gaza, Palestinian people have died after being shot by Israeli soldiers near a place. In Gaza, at least 25 Palestinians died from Israeli shootings at a place providing humanitarian aid that is supported by. French police did not stop migrants from attempting a dangerous crossing of the English Channel. In the early morning on a peaceful beach near Dunkirk, many people start moving. The aid distributor who was being criticized accused Hamas of causing a deadly bus explosion. The organization funded by the United States and Israel that is controversy in Gaza claims that Hamas committed a deadly. Survivors of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida will return to the club before it. The nightclub is changing into a long-lasting tribute for one of the country's deadliest mass shootings in recent times, which 2 unarmed Palestinian brothers were killed by Israeli forces during an operation in Nablus. Nidal Omara talked to Israeli soldiers before they attacked and killed him, along with his brother Khalid. The judge said that Donald Trump cannot use a reason about foreign policy to send. The ruling does not order the release of Khalil, but it weakens the case against him by the US government. In the FIFA Club World Cup 2025, Real Madrid has an equal chance of winning. In 2025, the team that won both the Spanish and European championships but was recently defeated is the most successful. The leader of the US National Guard says they are preparing for more protests about. The National Guard soldiers have received training to make arrests, but they haven't done it yet, according to Major General. A teenage boy from France told police that he wanted to kill any school monitor. A 14-year-old student from France who stabbed a teaching assistant to death said that he wanted to kill any teacher. Brian Wilson, the founder and songwriter of the Beach Boys who created popular summer songs. Brian Wilson, the leader of the American rock band The Beach Boys, passed away at the age of 82, as Israel will kick out people from a group called the Freedom Flotilla who are from. For French activists who were stopped by Israel while trying to deliver aid to Gaza on the Madeleine boat will. The jury has found Harvey Weinstein guilty of the most serious sexual offense charge in. Harvey Weinstein, disgraced movie producer, was found guilty of 1 count of sexual assault by a jury in Manhattan. French lawmakers want to charge polluting clothes factories more for disposing of waste. What can we do to prevent excessive consumption of cheap clothing that harms the environment?
President Trump announced that a trade agreement between the United States and China is complete.
The largest economies in the world have come to an agreement to reduce trade conflicts. Elon Musk said that he feels sorry for some of the things he wrote about.
The wealthy person admitted that their social media messages went too far. One sentence. The search continues for students who were carried away by floods in South Africa.
On Tuesday, 3 children were saved as they clung to trees after their bus got carried away. In Austria, people stopped and were quiet for a moment to remember the 10 people.
Many people went to Graz a few hours after the worst shooting in Austria in a long time.
The police in Los Angeles enforced a curfew, and President Trump said he will help. The police in the city announced that they have made many arrests during a time when arguments between the president. Protests against immigrants continued for a second night in Northern Ireland. During violent protests, houses, shops, and cars were damaged, and 17 police officers got hurt in Ballymena and other places. In the Hajj on Horseback project, people from Spain ride their horses all the way. It took around 7 months and many people watched it on social media. They also helped pay for the trip. A French senator is now seen as Trump's main opponent in Europe.
Claude Malhuret gave a strong criticism of the American president in front of many people. Amid Russian strikes, a remote corner of Ukraine beckons. Transcarpathia has had few Russian attacks in the past 3 years.
In Austria, people are sad after a shooting at a school caused deaths.
2 sentences.
A person who used to go to school in Graz killed 10 others and then themselves in a mass shooting.
The negotiations between the United States and China have come to an end, resulting in.
The U.S. Commerce Secretary said that the deal should solve some of the restrictions.
Elon Musk said he feels sorry for some things he wrote about Donald Trump. The billionaire admitted that his posts went too far. The search continues for the schoolchildren who were carried away by flooding in South Africa.
On Tuesday, 3 children were saved when they were seen holding onto trees after their bus got carried away. In Austria, people stood quietly for a moment to remember the 10 people who died. Many people went to Graz a few hours after the worst shooting in the country in a long time. Los Angeles police are enforcing a curfew, and President Trump is saying he wants to. The police in the city announced that they have made many arrests during this time when the argument between the. In Austria, people are grieving for those who died in a school shooting. Austria started 3 days of mourning on Wednesday for the 10 people who were killed in a school shooting.
At age 15, accused of terrorism, this is the sad tale of Ryan and Rudd. Newspapers in Austria are sad about the victims of their country's worst shooting since World War II. People are demonstrating against immigration raids in many places in the United States. The protests about immigration enforcement raids started in Los Angeles and are now spreading to other cities, including Atlanta, Chicago. Britain and other countries have imposed sanctions on Israeli ministers because of their support for. More pressure has come onto Israel from other countries. At the UN Oceans Conference Summit, discussions will focus on the negative impacts of commercial. The third United Nations Conference about oceans has started because many countries are putting pressure on each other to protect. According to local media, at least 7 people have died in attacks in Colombia. There have been attacks in the country as it deals with a worsening safety problem. 2 sentences. Bolsonaro said he is not involved in a suspected coup plan. The ex-president is on trial for allegedly trying to take down the government of current President Luiz Inácio Lula da. The discussions between the United States and China have concluded with a plan for both. The U.S. Commerce Secretary said that the deal should solve some of the restrictions. The UK has imposed sanctions on far-right Israeli ministers because they are accused of encouraging.
5 countries have banned travel for Israel's Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich. People in Austria are holding a vigil to remember the 10 people who died in. Many people come together quietly in Graz, following the worst shooting in the country's past.
Thousands attend.
In Ukraine, Russian attacks killed 3 people in Kharkiv and other areas using drones. In Rwanda, many white rhinos have been moved from South Africa. The UN committee advised the UK to cancel its agreement about the Chagos Islands and. News article: the Indian government has passed a law that restricts religious freedom in the. The leader of Germany's Green Party has called for sanctions against an Israeli minister. Greta Thunberg was taken off a boat in the Mediterranean Sea by Israeli soldiers and.
Greta Thunberg left Israel on Tuesday, as the Israeli government announced. The United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia have imposed sanctions on two far-right Israeli ministers because. On Tuesday, Britain, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and Norway announced that they have placed sanctions on two Israeli government ministers. In Gaza, 36 people died while trying to receive necessary assistance, according to authorities. In Gaza, 36 people died and 207 were injured on Tuesday while trying to reach aid. Austrian authorities are investigating following a shooting at a school that resulted in multiple deaths. Austrian officials are looking for reasons why a 21-year-old man killed 10 people at his old high school and then. Taiwan says the Chinese aircraft carriers in the Pacific show their expansionist goals. The Chinese aircraft carriers were seen doing activities together in the Pacific Ocean for the first time. In Kiev, loud sirens and explosions make it hard for people to sleep. Russia is doing more drone and missile attacks even though America wants them to stop fighting and try for peace. How many days needed to sketch all pubs in London? Lydia Wood, 31, is trying something difficult. While doing it, she's making a record of a significant part of the American teacher detained by Russia found in prison. For many months, Stephen James Hubbard's family couldn't locate him in Russian prisons. New messages question his jail sentence. In Peru, crime by gangs increases with more extortions and murders happening. Gangs are threatening local businesses to pay them money or face violence. Many places are experiencing a lot of extortion. 10 people died in shooting at school in Austria, police announced. 2 students and a teacher were shot dead in Austria's Graz city. The names and ages of victims haven't been. RFK Jr., known for his outspoken views on vaccines and health issues, recently announced the U.S. Health Secretary, known for vaccine skepticism and facing criticism from health experts, claimed that the panel dealt with the jury of Harvey Weinstein's trial allegedly experiences disagreements and conflicts within their group during. The article discusses that the foreperson mentions certain jurors in the ongoing trial are contemplating accusations beyond the scope of. A man has been accused of spiking his partner's beverage with an abortion-inducing substance, leading. Texas man faces accusation for surreptitiously administering abortion medication to his former partner without her awareness. Governor Newsom has labeled President Trump as deranged due to the deployment of additional troops. Protests emerge in various U.S. cities in response to immigration raids conducted during the Trump administration. Presidential push for mass deportation intersects with immigrant-rich city, creating a complex situation. Local ICE raids cause conflict. Judge rejects actor Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation lawsuit filed against actress Blake Lively. Legal conflict arises between Lively and Baldoni regarding the film It Ends With Us. Trump's travel ban prohibits citizens from 12 nations. The White House announced a new ban aimed at safeguarding American citizens from potential threats posed by foreign entities. This unrest erupts in Los Angeles. Los Angeles witnesses protests, with demonstrators opposing immigration raids clashing with law enforcement. Protests have become a significant aspect of modern society, with individuals expressing their opinions and. The news article reports on the arrest of numerous individuals following confrontations with law enforcement authorities in the United States. Downtown Los Angeles witnesses an unlawful assembly declaration. 3-day protests resulted in multiple arrests and the deployment of National Guard for city patrol. Ukraine says Russia attacked with 499 missiles and drones, which is the most in the. Russia attacked Ukraine with almost 500 drones and missiles, setting a new record after breaking one just days before. Israel stops boat carrying Greta Thunberg from Gaza aid. Here's what you need to know. A boat named Madeleine, sent by people who want an end to the long blockade of Gaza, is on a. America and China talk during difficult time in trade fight. Leaders from both countries will talk in London on Monday about finding solutions for their arguments about taxes and where. In Gaza, problems continue with new aid program. Use 15 words or less. Gaza Charity says Hamas warned their workers, but Hamas denies it. UN says Gaza people still need a lot of. Crimea, where many cultures met, now gets attacked and feels lonely. Many Russians are enjoying the old beaches here now, while Ukraine sends drones to hit military places. We should try.